I need my sleep. Because if I want to be the person I want to be and the runner that I want to be, I need to sleep a lot. Because when I don't get my sleep, I'm an absolute asshole. I've been at war with my sleep schedule my whole life. Like when I was younger, I used to stay up all night stimming my brain on video games until like late in the morning. And then I'd have to get up early and go to uni. Not ideal. Hell, even earlier in life, when I was a kid, I'd be, pretending to be asleep so that when my mum came in to check if I was actually asleep, I'd be, like this. She gone yet? And then when she left, I'd just turn on the TV at like 1 volume or go on my iPod. Remember that? What a throwback, iPods. And then I got into the real world and I started working and I realized that sleep is really important and I fixed it, right? No, actually, I didn't. No, it wasn't until I started running that I really pulled my sleep routine into a very structured schedule. In bed by 8:30, sleep by 9, hopefully. Up at 5, solid sleep. No questions asked. I'm real serious about this shit, guys. The way that I see it is the better sleep that you get, the more productive that you are, the faster that you run, the better that you feel. Everything is better when you get a good night's sleep. Actually, faster at running, I don't actually know if that is true. It makes sense to me though, like more rest, more recovery, faster recovery time, run faster, everything's better. But is that actually true? I don't know. Now, I think it's a very complex question, and I think there's probably 2 ways that you could actually investigate this. Number 1 would be, does sleep directly correlate to performance? And the second one would be, does sleep improve your recovery enough that you can continue training without having time off from injury or fatigue or something like that? Does it actually do that, or is it directly related to performance? That's what we're going to look at today. Right after I eat this. Give me a sec. So here's my general sleep tracking over the last couple of months. But as you can see in July, great sleep quality, consistent numbers, and I was running quite well. And then I was away on holiday in August. Terrible sleep, horrible sleep, and I ended up getting injured by the end of August. So it's pretty clear for me that more sleep equals more resilience to getting hurt or making progress in training. But what does the evidence actually say? Oh, by the way, I had a 2-week break over Christmas. I just needed a break, but I'm fully recharged, ready to absolutely smash it. The Christmas tree's gone after been there since October, and we're looking pretty good this year. Also, we're getting really close to 4,000 subscribers, so I think I'd sleep pretty good tonight if we actually got there at some point soon. But it is what it is. The hats are coming on the 2nd of January, and then I'm gonna start trying to figure out how to sell them and ship them and all that kind of stuff. So all coming soon, but let's carry on with this video. So let's start with sleep and injury risk. And I think the data currently in science at the moment is pretty murky. Like, we understand that poor sleep in endurance athletes can actually impact immune function, meaning that you can get sicker, which means that potentially your recovery might be a little bit more impaired from being sick more regularly if you are actually not sleeping enough, which I guess indirectly would result in you potentially getting injured or not being able to fully send your training to the max. Now, I do think that evidence will actually come out at some point to suggest that there's going to be an increased injury risk with reduced sleep, but there's nothing there in most populations. I think the only evidence that I could find was in, I think, adolescent populations, and they had a 65% increase in injury prevalence when they were having shitty sleep, probably on TikTok or something. So, but in the general population and adult athletic populations, there's basically nothing. But if we want to go off what the kids have going on, then maybe there is going to be some evidence come out at some point to actually say. I guess one thing to understand is that stuff like this is so multifactorial. Like, none of the studies have actually looked at food or any kind of intake of food in combination with sleep and looking at recovery and stuff like that. It's just such a complex thing. Someone that's way smarter than I'll ever be is going to have to find a study design that puts all of this in perspective and also has a big enough population to actually figure out whether sleep directly actually impacts recovery and injury rates, or if there's just other stuff going on like food intake, stress levels, overreaching in training that can also impact that, But who gives a shit about recovery? It's all about performance. And does more sleep improve your performance? Yes, this meta-analysis that I found is actually so good because it's in trained and untrained populations. And it found that endurance was actually impaired significantly with activities greater than 30 minutes. So if you're doing like a 20-minute 5K, maybe you can go out the night before and not sleep and get on the sesh or whatever, and you might be okay. But long distance runs, like training runs and sessions and things that go for longer than 30 minutes, you're gonna have a massive impact if your sleep absolutely sucks. As quoted from the study, endurance exercise practitioners should avoid even minor sleep loss as much as possible. Improving sleep habits could be beneficial in achieving this goal. Strategies to mitigate sleep deprivation's adverse effects on endurance performance are desirable, as sleep loss is sometimes unavoidable. Makes sense. So the evidence is all there, and do what you want with that evidence, I suggest. But it might not be necessarily super important for recovery according to current evidence, even though I do not agree with that at all. But it will improve your performance, and running fast is super important. So how can you actually optimize your sleep beyond just going to bed at 9 and waking up at 5? Good question. Now, I guess for a lot of these things, it's not just about running faster. It's all about improving your mood and feeling better every day, because there's no doubt that sleeping more and having better quality sleep will impact your performance positively, but it will make you a better person. And the first thing that I always go to is a good old-fashioned eye mask. I don't go anywhere without my eye mask. Well, I don't really go many places to sleep, but if I were to go to places to sleep, I would bring my eye mask. It's just the best. I took this to Europe with me. I tried to manage my sleep the best that I could, but Europe's just crazy. This helps to just keep any kind of light from hitting your eyes, and it also kind of helps to keep your eyes closed. Stops you from waking up randomly in the middle of the night. Very helpful, but more important than this is actually waking up at the same times every day. The consistency of waking up at the same time every day is so undervalued. I don't think it really matters too much when you go to bed, as long as you wake up at the same time every single day, no matter what day of the week it is. You just gotta lock in that wake up time, and even on days off, just keep getting up at that same time rather than going to bed late and then waking up late, because that's just gonna be so hard. I would much rather just wake up at the same time every single day. The next thing is, if you have the option to do hard workouts in the morning, try and get them done in the mornings. If you don't have the choice, that's perfectly fine. But if you get the workouts done in the mornings, it means that you have a long time to cool that core temperature down and everything like that normally happens at the end of the day. Your body gets to a peak core temperature at about 5 p.m. and then it starts to cool down right until you go to sleep. And that cooling is what makes you feel like you need to sleep. If you ramp that back up at like 7 p.m., your sleep is going to be impacted. So if you can bring that fast workout into the morning, that's also going to be beneficial in improving your sleep. And I'd also say that eating dinner really late is also going to be impactful to your sleep. Like Australian people, like I know I'm Australian, but I grew up in a British family, so we always used to eat dinner at 4 p.m, whereas everyone here eats it at like 7 p.m, which is just so close to bedtime. Don't do that. Let your body digest before it gets time to actually recover. So it's not just like digesting all this food while it's trying to recover the best that it can. Just completely compartmentalize that. And the last thing, I know that I've harped on a million times about caffeine, but caffeine does impact your sleep. Front load your day with caffeine if you're still going to take it, or don't take it at all. It doesn't actually impact performance that much when you're doing like just daily aerobic runs. Doesn't really matter. Maybe save it for some hard workouts and some races. Otherwise, leave caffeine alone. It'll make you a better person, just like sleeping more will, and having consistent sleep times, and using a mask and all this stuff. But in short, rant over. Sleep is really important. So is running fast, and you can't run fast unless you're sleeping lots. There you go. Follow the Instagram. I'm posting a lot over there. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.